I'm sure it's clear to you, friends, that the Torah gets always deeper and deeper and deeper. You know? It's not another page. Right? Even take any book in the world. What's a good book? The more you read, the more you get involved in the story, right? If you're involved by the 100th page as much as by the first page, you shouldn't buy the book, right? A good book is and it's an ordinary book. Can you imagine God's book, right? A Heilige Torah. Every word getting deeper, 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 deeper. Remember, the Reb Shlomo says that the portions which we read in the winter, like Parshas, it has they're wearing heavy fur coat. Means it's so covered up. Right? Looks like ordinary stories, a cute story, a warm, so. It's sweet. Give out. It's the deepest depths. Right? Okay, I'll start from here. Because it's Parshas Vayeira, although I wasn't here in Noach and wasn't privileged to be here. This is so deep, beyond words. Don't tell me I don't have it. Can't even find it properly. This is a good parsha for Charlotte, We always think that the highest revelation in the world is that God reveals himself who he is. Right? God. Flying in the air. Turned on to God, right? Just takes its first three words. Vayeira, Ealav, Hashem. And God, right? Vayeira, Ealav, Hashem. And God, the way it's translated, Vayeira, Ealav, and God appeared or revealed himself to him. And everybody's asking, whenever there's a revelation, it always says, God spoke to Abraham. Should say, and God revealed himself or spoke to Abraham. And second, he didn't say anything here. He just said he revealed himself. Okay, we'll have to take it slow. I'm telling you the whole thing in one nutshell. The Ishbitz doesn't say it's not God revealed himself to him. God revealed Abraham to himself. I'll forget, we have two more therapists here, Pearl, Brother Steve, is not so simple, right? What is the deepest revelation in the world? The deepest revelation in the world would like to know who I am. And all the brokenness in the world is only because I don't know who I am. Or even more so, I have no idea what I'm doing in this world. It is possible, Mamash, I'm doing good all my life, I'm frum, I'm holy, I'm sweet, I'm cute, and inside I'm completely empty. It's long ago someone told me, got a call from one of my old friends who's now a big Rosh Yeshiva in Israel, right? He says, I'm playing the part well, he says. I'm a Rosh Yeshiva, a big shot. Inside I'm completely empty. What's his problem? Because he doesn't know what he's doing. Right? Imagine if he would know that each time he smiles at one of the students in the yeshiva, he's doing the biggest mitzvah in the world, right? He wouldn't be empty, right? One more thing, the deepest depth is, the question is always, Am I really doing the right thing? And here I want you to open your heart. And this is touching the deepest. You know what's wrong with this world? With all the beauty? It's full of doubt. Full of doubt. You know, we call the tree of knowledge the tree of knowledge. In the Zohar, it's called Ilne des Feke, the tree of doubt. It's awesome, right? Because you never, is it good, is it bad? Is it bad, is it good? Maybe it's not so good. Maybe it's good, right? You'll x-ray the heart and the mind of most bride and grooms, right? They're standing under the chuppah and they still don't know if it's right or wrong, right? Mamash, right? Think maybe, do you think I'm doing the right thing? Why is it, sadly enough, that so many people, whenever they meet someone that they love, they ask every shmendik on the street if you think it's good? When you buy ice cream, you don't walk around before you lick everyone, asking everyone, you think it's good ice cream? Have you ever seen someone going bagel and lax for breakfast, then walks around every table? You think this lax is good? You think the bagel is good? Because my life doesn't depend on it. The moment my life depends on it, I'm full of doubt. I'm torn apart. Right? So listen to me. Until Avraham Avinu circumcised, until Mamish made a covenant with God, he did not fix the tree of knowledge. Didn't fix it yet. So with all the goodness, with all the holiness, all the sweetness, there was still like, I hope I did the right thing. And you think nobody told Avraham you're doing the wrong thing? And here I want you to know the deepest depths. You know, you see it all the time. When do people doubt the most? Really? I'm learning Gemara, okay, let's hope it's the right thing. I'm walking in the street, I'm giving $1 to a person, the doubt creeps in. I think he's a dope addict. In fact, I'm sure he's a dope addict. Who knows what he's going to do with $1, right? He's younger than you, let him work, you're crazy, right? He looks healthy. Or he looks disgusting, right? You know when someone asks you for a favor? You know, when you buy ice cream, you're not full of doubt. When I buy ice cream, I eat it, right? Someone says to you, would you like to buy some ice cream for me? Right away, the tree of doubt comes in. Why can't he buy ice cream for himself? Chutzpah. And then you say, I think the ice cream is not even kosher, right? In fact, I'm sure it's not kosher, right? Making the whole world crazy. Listen to this, Avraham Avinu, because everybody's asking, why didn't the Torah tell us how Avraham was greeting guests before he entered the covenant with God? You know, when we're talking here about Vayeira Ealav, Avraham Avinu is 99 years old. From the age of 48, his house is open. That means nearly 50 years, right? Nearly 50 years. He's taking in strangers to the house. And suddenly now, he's 99 years old, the Torah writes what he did to strangers. Okay, now I want you to open your heart. Do you know something? This is Mamish Ishbitz in the deepest depths. Most of us, we carry our good deeds around on our shoulders. It weighs heavy. You know, when I do something, I'm not sure if I did the right thing, I have to carry it. I have to carry it. That means I have to trust myself that I did it. You know, most people walk around like, the older they get, the more eingebeugt, right? Why? Come in and join us, walk fast. You know what it is? Because if I don't know, if If I do the right thing, I have to carry it. I have to carry it. Well, you know something very deep. I was learning it a lot of times. Why is it so important when you go to the chuppah? The kala has to walk, the chosin has to walk. Why doesn't the ceremony begin? They're sitting under the chuppah. The rabbi comes, knocks out the bochele, like over Coca-Cola. You know, in Israel, I don't want to say anything bad. For most weddings, sometimes I'm invited. I stop going to somebody else performs the wedding because it's too heartbreaking. But sometimes I listen. I say to someone standing next to me, close your eyes. Does it sound like a brocha over the wedding, or does it sound like a brocha over Coca-Cola? Same, right? You know something? If you want to know if you're sure what you're doing, watch your feet. You know, if I know what I'm doing, I'm going differently than when I doubt, right? So this is the last test of bride and groom. You're going to the chuppah, watch your feet. How are you walking, right? How are you walking? I'm just walking, you know where I'm going, right? I want you to know something very, very deep. If you don't know where you're walking, where you're going, then the way looks very, very long. Even if it's very short. If you know where you're going, it's short, right? The question is always how far you have to walk to the chuppah, right? If you don't know, if you're in doubt, and if it's give up, right? Now listen to this. When do we ever have the privilege that God gives us a taste that what we are doing is really the right thing? It's beyond, right? So here the Ishbitz says, we were asking, why didn't God tell anything to him? God revealed himself to him, but he didn't say anything. God didn't say anything to him. Just gave him a taste that whatever he does is really good. Yahweh Hashem. Mamish, so to speak, he mamish saw that whatever he does, this is what really God wants. That's what God wants him to do. One more very deep thing. The deepest question in the world is what you're doing, does it really come from the deepest depths of your heart? Imagine I live my whole life, let's say I'll be very frum, I'll do everything right, then I hope to stay here for another 2,000 years, but let's say after 5,000 years, coming up to heaven, and they x-ray me, and they'll show me that everything I did didn't even come from my heart. I just heartbreaking. What do you mean? My whole life I was disconnected from my own neshama. It's awesome, right? And I want you to open your eyes. We learned it a lot of times, but this is even deeper. You know, a name is for somebody else. Imagine I would be alone in the world. I don't need a name, right? You know something? Here, the revelation was not to Avraham. God spoke to Abraham. It says, Ealav to him. To him, this deepest depths where a name doesn't even reach. It's nothing to do with anybody in the world. It's just between me and myself. And between me and myself, nothing to do with a name. You know, friends, it sounds so simple, but so deep, you know. Vayeira, Ealav Hashem. God was shining into the deepest depths. What was God shining into him? That mamish, that doing chesed, doing good to the world. This is the highest thing in the world. You know, how did the tree of knowledge begin? The snake comes and says, you want to be like God, you eat from the wrong apple here. Right? But you don't become like God by eating from an apple. Hey, Naomi, how you doing? You know how you become like God? When you're good to people. That's the closest you can get to God, right? What's God doing? The Gemara says there is doing God's will and being like God. When I put on film, I'm doing God's will. When I'm doing a favor to somebody else, I am like God. Because what's God doing? Doing favors to everyone, right? Giving life to everyone. So here it says, Vayeira Ealav Hashem. Now listen to this. This is awesome depth. The Gemara says, God took the sun out from its shade. It was so hot. Okay, everybody with the right mind understands what does it really matter for eternity if it was hot or not. You know? God will say, oh, Avraham Avinu had green pants on and he had white shoes and blue socks. Who cares? Right? And would be interesting, right? But the Torah only says something which, mamish, I need. Every word I need for my whole life. You know, in paradise, you don't wear garments. You know why? Because in paradise, everything is so clear. Garments are always a cover-up, right? Names are cover-up. You know what the world does? They cover everything up as names, right? This one is an idiot, this one is bad. Not names, Moshe or Yankel, right? Give names, right? When do we ever know something without garments, without names, right? So, you know, I can know every name of God. I have no idea what God is all about, right? I can know about a person all their names. I can know everything they did since the day they were born, and don't have the faintest idea who they are, right? So I'm good on the garment center, right? What do you know inside, right? If I ask somebody, what is called doing good? Send money to Israel, give money to the homeless. This is all garments. You know, sometimes it's clear to everyone here. Sometimes I can give $1 to a poor man, it was a garment. Sometimes I give 1 penny, but it was in paradise. It's beyond garments, right? So much deeper, right? So it says on that day, when God spoke to Avraham, he took the sun out from its shade. That means suddenly what was the light which was shining into Avraham, mamish, he got mamish. And you see what it is. And it says God came to visit him. And here I just want to tell you this is so deep. Because basically, God bless you, an angel came later on to cure him. And here it says, it's hard to know. Levakia means to actually, to scrutinize. Let's see what you're doing, right? Let's see what you know. Let's see how you behave. But anyway, the deepest depth is, well, you know something, what is the deepest fixing of the world? Why is the world so completely? There's an unbelievable story. The Kotzke Rebbe, Heilige Simcha, what's going on? You know Kotzke and Woke, they were the best friends for 30 and I don't want to say anything bad. Some Kotzke Chassidim had a lot of chutzpah. So one Kotzke Chassid meets the Woke, the Heilige Woke, says to him, so when are you becoming a Kotzke Chassid? Which was a chutzpah, but anyway. So the Heilige Woke says, are you that much in doubt about your Rebbe that you need me to become his chassid? You see, those people want everyone to do the same thing because they're full of doubts, right? And each time they see somebody else doing something which they're not doing, right? I don't want to say anything bad. Why is the Christian world so eager to convert us Jews, right? Because whenever they see a Jew, they think maybe they are right, you know. Maybe they are right. Maybe the whole thing is a fake, right? I need you also to commit yourself, l'chaim. I don't want to say anything bad, but you know, there were some rebels, you know. Some of the chassidim were running around, you have to come to my Rebbe, you know. And you know who those chassidim were? Never the highest chassidim. Not the inside chassidim. This is my Rebbe's your Rebbe, so what's the problem? The outside chassidim had to prove to themselves that they are gewalt, right? So they are schlepping 10 chassidim to the Rebbe. I heard, you know, when someone came to the Holy Son, the Rebbe says, I brought you 10 new chassidim. Well, the son that says, why? You thought I need 2 new ones? You know, stupid, right? He wants to prove to himself that he's a big son of Chazal. You don't have to prove anything. You see, the tree of knowledge makes the world so crazy. I mean, the tree of doubt. I want everyone to be the same because I'm in doubt. But when and also, you see, when I'm not clear about what I'm doing, then I'm angry at you. Why don't you do the same thing, right? And I have no patience, right? If mamish, for me, the sun has no shade, right? I see a pagan, Malata, come into my house. Come in. I know you're hungry. But here comes the deepest depths, you know, like this is the deepest depths. You know what bothers us the most? I'm thinking, could the world exist without me? I'm sure it could. I'm unimportant. Imagine if God would shine into me that the world cannot exist without me. You know what it is? We couldn't take it. You know what? We'd be so arrogant, we'd be so chutzpahdik. I'm so important in the world, right? You know what our reaction would be? Ha! I'm important, but you, I know you're not, right? Then the revelation did not come from the right place, right? But if God reveals to me that the world cannot exist without me, and it's really a God revelation, then I look at every lowest pagan and realize the world cannot exist without them either. God. See, when God reveals himself to Avram, that Avram, the whole world needs Avram, suddenly saw 3 pagans. God. Maybe you think you're ordinary pagans, but you're not. And here comes even deeper. Remember, this is one of the Torahs of Ishbitz, which is so deep. You know, when God created the world, God created the water, God created everything. Nobody complained. And this is really the deepest step. When God created man, the angels came, there was a voice in heaven saying, Mo enosh k'siskireno. Who needs human beings? Who needs them? They just destroy the world. Who needs them? And if you remember, the deepest depth, the Ishbitz says that basically every Pesach, what's slavery coming from? Slavery comes from this idea that what's a human being? You know, the animal, right? So, you're my horse, right? You're my donkey. Pesach, when we go out to freedom, we are conquering that voice that says, What's a human being, right? God's image, right? Go out, right? So, the truth is, you see, the Ishbitz says, who were those three angels? These were the angels who complained, who said, why do you create man? What's so big about him? And until now, there was nobody God could prove to the angels that they're wrong, right? Avraham Avinu. You know what it is like? How many people do we know who we could say, this is mamash, a human being in the image of God? Very few people, right? It was probably 1 out of 1 million, right? You know what the Ishbitz says? That every year we conquer that voice a little bit more. And this is awesome, it's really beautiful. Ishbitz says that every year there are new flowers in the world. And without getting involved in the depth. Because flowers, basically you need flowers for. They're making the world more beautiful, right? What's the most beautiful thing in the world? Human beings, right? And the more you are convinced how beautiful people are, that's the more, really, it's just, sometimes when you meet people who despise people, they don't like flowers either. I think it's a waste of money, stupid, right? But without getting involved in this. On Shavuos, we fill the whole shul with flowers, right? Because when we stood before God at Mount Sinai, it was a height of us creating God's image, right? And God is talking to us, right? You know what it means, God's image? We're equals, right? You only talk to your equal, right? If God talks to us, just go out. So we fill the shul with flowers. But one more thing. Avinu is sick, right? And again, I'm very sick, and someone tells me to do something. I don't have the strength to do it. You know why I don't have the strength to do it? Because there is a certain voice inside of me that says, you don't really have to. You don't need to. Let's put it this way. God forbid the person is very sick. Then suddenly they hear somebody's drowning in the ocean. Do you know how much strength they have? They jump up when they want to jump in the ocean and get them out. Because it's fair to them. If I don't go in, God forbid they'll drown, right? You see, Avraham Avinu was mamish sick and in pain. But because of this deepest depth of revelation, it was so clear to him. And he ran. It was clear to him. When I see 3 hungry people, I have to feed them. It's not two ways about it. And here I want you to know one more thing, which is the deepest depths on which God should open gates for all of us. When you teach your children about God and you're not so sure there is one God, forget it. You won't give it over to them, right? I once saw the first book of Baba Ramdas, and he writes why he left Yiddishkeit. So he writes because his father was the president of a big Reform synagogue. Okay, his father didn't believe in anything, but he would know there's one God. So his father says, talk to the rabbi. He goes to the rabbi, and he asks him, is there one God? The rabbi begins quoting here, quoting there. I'm sure no Gamos, New York Times of this Sunday, Reader's Digest of last Sunday, and Village Voice of another Sunday. He says to him, I don't want quotations. I'm asking you straight. Couldn't get it out of him. This, what kind of religion is it? Never, he thought that this rabbi is a spokesman, But what I want to tell you is, there are certain things in life. The first thing, if you want to enter covenant with God, it has to be clear to you inside. If it doesn't come from the deepest inside that you're a servant of God, and that what you are doing is really what God is shining into you, then it just doesn't exist, right? There has to be something inside so deep, which is chamamin atika, is the sun is out of the shade. No garments, just light. Deepest depths. So you see, the angels came to Avram and they told him, and so you'll have a baby, right? And then, in the deepest depths, God came to cure the sick. I just want to say something fast. COVID, everyone special COVID, Charlotte. Let me ask you, when you see somebody is off, let's say, imagine some crazy person comes to Charlotte, or to Pearl, or to Brother Steve, and you can say, listen, wait, I'm calling the police on you. Why not? He's not a criminal, he's sick. You know what the tree of knowledge does to us? They make the sick world into criminals. But you know what the tree of life does? It takes criminals and makes them sick. Oh, something else. It's the deepest depths of the world, right? See, Avraham Avinu, after he entered the covenant with God, it was so clear to him what God is all about, what the world is all about. The sick. You see, until that day, he thought the people in Sodom are criminals, and they really are. Now they're sick. Sick to the core. Got to pray for them. And I don't say the world doesn't need police. But then there's the Heilige Avraham Avinu level, right? The tree, you see, on the garment level they're criminals. On the beyond garment level, they're sick. So here it says, the Master of the world came, to teach Avraham Avinu how to take care of the sick. And you see, when God revealed himself to Avraham, won't you know, Mamish Avraham Avinu at that moment saw every Jew until Mashiach's come. Mamish, right? Mamish Avraham Avinu saw how important every Yid is. And then he saw, Mamish, the whole world, right? The whole world. And you see what it is? When you have dust, are you calling up a rabbi, am I permitted to wipe off the dust? Because the dust is meaningless, right? It is very easy to say about people who are bad, they're meaningless. Let's wipe them out. But after Avraham Avinu, after God revealed himself, I can't let you wipe out Sodom. Even Sodom. Right? And everybody knows why was Avraham Avinu praying for Sodom? Because he saw, hey, Heilige Moshe, Mira, how are you? Because he saw that Mashiach is coming from there, right? Because Lot is the great grandfather of food. He saw the light of Mashiach, So what's the first thing if you want to be, like the Hashem says, there's a Mashiach for the world, and then you have to be the Mashiachs for each other. You know, if someone comes to you and tells you you're a criminal, he's not talking in the name of Mashiach. Right? But if someone comes and tells you how important you are, it's a message from heaven. Because we are only doing so much wrong because we don't know how important it is.